All right, hello, ladies. I'm gonna give it just a second for people to pop on. As always, my name is Laurel Houston, and this is Body Mapping with Laurel, Mapping Mondays. So, for those of you who have never joined before or who haven't, this is the first video you're watching, I always want to start off first by explaining what body mapping is, because I get a lot of people that say, I've never heard of this before. And I say, I know, it's proprietary information, meaning this is something that over 20 years of experience, I have combined body language experts, FBI files, and 20 years of studying people. I have a degree in psychology, a degree in communication, and a minor in human development. I was a cosmetologist for 17 years and I stared at people all day long. And basically, as I did this, hi Lori, as I did this, I started to notice and discover that certain clients had certain facial features or shoulder widths or things about their hands. And all of those things started to tell me things about them. So, the biggest key factor in body mapping is this: the universe has literally left a map on your body. The purpose of this map is to help you know who you are, to help you find purpose. There are times, though, that this map also tells you when things are in distress. So I very much understand that a virus causes a cold, bacteria causes strep throat. However, when you get that virus or when you get that cold and there are symptoms, and you have a cold and you make out with your husband and he loses his voice and you get a stuffy nose. You have different symptoms even though the same virus caused your cold because of emotional things that are happening for you. Now, two parts of body mapping. First, every part of your body can be measured with another part of your body. And so when these things are in proportion versus out of proportion, it tells me different things about you. The second thing about body mapping is that, to me, symptoms are just messages. Symptoms are not good or bad or right or wrong. It is just a way for your mind, your body, and your spirit to convey a message to you. Now, usually, hey, Melinda, usually this message happens because you're not listening. You might be listening to your head, but you're not listening to your body. And so you get messages from it, and they're trying to tell you certain things. Most importantly, they're trying to help you heal. Most of our symptoms are because we have an emotional hurt that we are not going to deal with. Now, I do not call these trapped negative emotions because, in my mind, emotions are neither positive nor negative. What you do, what actions you take because of that emotion is what then creates the positivity or the negativity. So I do not view any emotion as negative because you know what? There have been days where I have been pissed and my house gets cleaned in like 20 minutes. So in my mind, that emotion of anger and rage was not negative. It really inspired me to do something quickly. Now, if I take that anger or rage and I start freaking out at my children, the action is what's negative, not the emotion. Now, the reason I'm going through all of this is because last week we talked about chins and it brought up a little bit about throats. And when we were talking about throats, I mentioned thyroid. And I had a whole bunch of people on here say, "What is it? Talk to me about your thyroid. I have thyroid issues. I have thyroid issues." And what I have discovered over the last, 7 years of working with thousands of women, a lot of women have thyroid issues. A lot of women have um, hormonal issues. So I need to do a little bit of anatomy and physiology before I get into the body mapping aspect of this. Um, so first off, my disclaimer, because I have tried to stay away from internal. I've done more features. What does your eye mean? Next week, we're going to talk about noses because noses are all about money. Um, I've tried to stay away from internal organs because I am not a doctor. I am not claiming to heal or diagnose in any way. I am teaching you what I have discovered over working with thousands of women over the last 7+ years, what they all had in common based on their symptoms. And so, with that in mind, if you are currently on thyroid medication or you are currently under a doctor's um, treatment, do not listen to this video and then stop all of that. Continue to program, continue to process, and continue to get the treatment that you need. Yes, I am 100% an advocate for getting the emotions taken care of. But if my kid needs an antibiotic, I'm going to give them an antibiotic, and then I'm going to look at their symptoms and say, they had a really high fever. There's something inside them that is causing them rage, deep rage, because otherwise they wouldn't have had a fever. So I look at the body as a person, as a mind, a body, and a spirit. If you need medicine to heal your body, then take the medicine. But you also have a mind and a body, or a mind and a spirit. So heal those two. Okay, so with all of that being said, how many people on this call have thyroid issues? Have been told they have thyroid issues? Have been told that they have issues with their hormones? Um, because they are all related, but not in the way you think they are. So I'm going to give it just a minute to see in the chat how many people. So I'm just waiting for a second. Okay. Because a lot of people who, okay, that's one. And this is one, and I genuinely mean this. This is a free open group. If what you hear on this video or any of the other videos that I've posted, if you have a friend that has that problem, please tag them so that they are able to understand what's happening. Okay, Hashimoto's is a huge one. Hyperthyroid, hypothyroid. Um, okay, so this is the other thing. After I had, because someone was saying I had to have surgery, you know, I that's what got me into all of this. When my daughter was 6 weeks old, I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery, and it was horrific. My gallbladder had ruptured. I was going septic. It was a very, very traumatic thing. They had to take my gallbladder. Well, a few months later, I learned a lot of what I had this, I call them downloads. I had this major spiritual download. And one of the biggest things I got from it was we weren't given extra parts and pieces. And so there are ways to heal all parts of us. Now, with that being said, if you need to get surgery, get surgery. My gallbladder had to come out. Some of you have had your thyroids taken out. Some of you are on medication right now. Stay on it. Heal the physical. Work on the spiritual and the mental. So here's what your thyroid is. So physiologically, your thyroid is basically your hormonal brain. What I mean by that, when your thyroid from your actual brain, your brain says, hey, it's time to start making blank hormone. It's time to start making more estrogen. Hey, we're pregnant. It's time to start making progesterone. Hey, we're lactating. It's time to start doing all of these different. And your thyroid goes, okay. And your thyroid even tells your pancreas when to do insulin. There are all sorts of things that your thyroid is the brain of your hormones. Okay. So physiologically, when your thyroid is doing its job correctly, your body runs smoothly. When your thyroid is not doing its job correctly, you are prone to migraines, weight gain, leaky gut, or problems with your digestive system. You are prone to mood swings, depression, anxiety, and it has everything to do with the fact that your hormone brain is not telling your other organs when to produce the correct hormone. Okay. I'm trying to keep this simple. So when you are supposed to be creating progesterone and estrogen, and your thyroid says, kick in some testosterone, and all of a sudden you're having infertility problems. Yes, look at your reproductive organs, but it's a thyroid problem. Because your thyroid, from a spiritual and emotional perspective, your thyroid is what controls unexpected change. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. Your thyroid is what told your body to start puberty. Your thyroid is what will tell your body to start menopause. Your thyroid is what tells you to absorb serotonin. Your thyroid is what controls change in the body. So for people that have thyroid issues, without even digging deep into their past, I know that there was a time in their life that they had a large, unexpected change. That doesn't mean it has to be traumatic. They could have won the lottery, but it was an unexpected, monumental change, and they didn't quite know how to deal with the repercussions of it. They didn't know how to voice their opinion about how they were feeling about the change. Your thyroid is about how you deal with unexpected change. These changes could be traumatic. These changes could be joyful. You could have been trying to get pregnant for a decade and all of a sudden find out that you're pregnant, and that unexpected change, even though it was wished for, wanted for, if you do not express how you feel about that change, you will have thyroid issues. Okay, so all of you that are saying, I have thyroid issues, I have thyroid issues, you don't have to share it, but what in your life made you go, whoa, and you didn't express it? You didn't express the joy, the gratitude, the horror, the terror. There was something. It could have been something as simple as you moved when you were 6 years old and no one explained to you that you would never see those friends again. This is why so many people have thyroid problems, because it's not just about your hormones. It's about the fact that there was a change that occurred in your life that you weren't ready for, and no one talked to you about it. For a lot of women, it's their period, especially women who are over the age of 40, because you did not grow up in an era, in a generation, in a time that women talked about their periods. If we didn't talk about it, it didn't happen. And if we don't talk about it, then you won't have sex. Okay. That's not, and so then because you're having thyroid issues, and your thyroid issues are tied to the fact that you started having your period and no one explained that to you, now you're having horrific cramping or endometriosis or other things that make you hate that you're a woman instead of a playful child. So yeah, from a physiological level, your hormones are off, your progesterone levels, your estrogen, your testosterone, your all of those are going to be off. But it has more to do with your ability to accept that life is all about changing, and less to do with just your hormones. Because here's the thing, the things that throw our hormones off, our diet, totally throws our hormones off. Well, if you are completely stressed out and overwhelmed, and life is changing around you, you're going to emotionally eat. And you're not going to emotionally eat grapes and a whole food, raw, nutritious diet. You're going to go get Hostess. And it's going to totally mess up your hormones because of all of the chemicals in the processed whatever. You're going to eat some soy-based whatever. So yes, there are physiological reasons, diet, sleep, exercise, that help you manage your thyroid. Continue to do those things. But you have to start voicing your opinion about change, about what you want changed, about change that occurred that no one explained to you. For most of you, your thyroid problems started as a teenager and exacerbated as life went on, and things felt more and more and more out of control. So there's two pieces to this. So for those of you who know a lot about energy and your chakras, what chakra is right here on top of your thyroid? It is your throat chakra. It's all about speaking your truth. It's all about expressing desire. It's all about feeling like you are allowed to be heard. So yes, people with thyroid issues also have this inner mean girl that says, no one cares what you have to say. And especially if there was trauma behind that and people didn't listen to you or you kept the trauma a secret. You have fed, you're not worth hearing, no one wants to listen to you. So your voice box, your throat chakra, and your thyroid have all went, no one cares if we change. No one cares if we hurt. And it is destroying your voice. It is destroying your thyroid. Okay, so Laurel, this is all great information and it's really heavy, but what the H am I supposed to do about it? That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. Someone asked in the chat, what am I supposed to do about this? Because really, that's why you got on this particular call. That's why this popped up in your Facebook. There is a reason why there was this video out of the almost dozen that I've done in the last 2 months. There's a reason you're watching this one. You are allowed to be heard. Others want to hear what you have to say. And you, as a human, are excited for change and progression to take place. Those are the thoughts. People want to hear what I have to say. My words matter. And you heard it. Oh, and I can feel for some of you. So you get a dry erase marker and you walk into your bathroom mirror and you look at yourself, and right where your throat is in the mirror, you write the sentence, my words matter. And tonight when you go and you brush your teeth, you stare at that and it says right across your throat, my words matter. And every time you walk in your bathroom, you hear and you see my words matter. Okay, I want to know what physical features tell you someone has thyroid or throat issues. You knew when you met me last week, but I never asked why. So for some people um, in extreme cases, they will actually have, here, let me see if I can, so they'll start to get kind of like a shelf right here because there's so much inflammation in the thyroid. And so they're pretty far along when that starts to happen. For most of the people that I meet that have thyroid issues, it is more because of the thousands of women I've worked with, and they have a hard time voicing their opinion and being firm in it. They won't express their desires. And how many women have said, when someone has said, what do you want? And you go, I don't know. And you really don't know. They're like, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? And you're like, a choice. I can't make a choice. It's because you are tired of expressing your opinion and not being listened to. And so when you are having like really big, how do I want to say this? I'm going to choose my words carefully on this one. When you have really big decisions to make and you feel like no one will honor your decision, voice it anyway. Because not voicing it is actually what is making things worse. So when I work with women that are very much indecisive, or they state their opinion and then they say, I'm sorry for that opinion, or they almost need justification that it's okay for them to have that opinion, I know they have thyroid issues. So here's the other part of this, and this is the really woo-woo part of this. Being unable to express yourself or feel like your words matter or feel like your desires matter makes you feel very unsafe. And when women feel unsafe, they will go into masculine energy. Now, masculine energy and feminine energy are not gender roles. I don't care who mows your lawn. I don't care who does your laundry. When women do not feel safe, they feel an uncontrollable urge to protect, guard, and hide themselves. And it is exhausting you. So, yes, those of you who have Hashimoto's, hi, beautiful. Those of you who have Hashimoto's and you're tired all the time, part of it is hormonal. The other part of it is because you are trying so hard to physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually protect yourself that you're exhausted and you don't even know who your enemy is. I'm telling you right now, it is your fear of change, of unexpected change. It is the fear of the unknown. So start telling yourself, I embrace change. Change improves my life. And is there going to be a lot of programming that has to be undone? Yes. But as you are willing to accept, honor, and embrace change that comes into your life, and you express gratitude for the changes, this gets better. And it puts you back into feminine energy. Feminine energy is healing energy. And women who are stuck in masculine energy can do every affirmation, every exercise, every diet that they want to. But because they are stuck in masculine, it's very hard for them to heal on their own. It's very hard for them to heal with help. Women need to be in feminine energy in order to heal. And when we do not let ourselves feel, we cannot heal. So someone asked on a previous video, what do you mean? You always say you have to feel to heal. What does that mean? When you're sad, don't eat. Be sad. And then say to someone, I'm sad today. And here's the cool thing about it. When you actually let yourself be sad for a few minutes, it's minutes, not hours. Because you've said out loud, I feel really sad right now. Not, I'm sad. I don't claim it as my title. I'm not sad. I feel really sad today. And I let myself feel that sadness. My husband was out of town and I was so sad. And I had a friend, she's like, you just seem so down. And I said, you know what? I feel really lonely today. My husband's been gone for days and I just feel very lonely. I did not say I'm lonely because that's not something I want to maintain. I said, I feel lonely. And I let myself feel that yearning for connection. And I let myself feel that hurt. And I let myself feel that abandonment. And then I was fine. I wish I would have known all of this amazing stuff when I was in my 20s. Exactly, Melinda. Energy work, personal development, speaking your truth. It is so powerful. Um, and that's honestly why I started doing these Monday mappings, because I have hundreds of women that I don't have access to right now because I'm not doing live classes. And so I still wanted people to have this information. And this affects boys the same way. Yes, it does. I have a grandson that has been abused and lots of change. Was told to keep his mouth shut. Yep. So now just don't say anything about anything if he is sick, stomach pain, because no one cares. Yep. So a lot of kids, this is the other thing. So a lot of people who have had abuse or who have had something traumatic happen to them and no one listened to them, they become the chronically ill because they have so much trapped inside them, and they've learned, if I'm hurting, people don't pay attention to me. But if I'm sick, they have to. And so they will actually allow themselves more sickness because we as a culture, when people are sick, we give them more attention. And so, hold on, I got a bus right next to me. So people who have chronic illnesses, chronic sickness, especially if it's debilitating, that is their way to say, I need someone to show me love. He's 14. Okay, that's okay. You haven't lost him yet, because as a 14-year-old, one of the most important things you can say to a 14-year-old is to look them in the eye. And no matter what story they're telling you, look at them and say, I hear you. Not, not, oh, you're so right. Because if they're, especially if they're complaining, because if you are shaking your head yes, you're actually giving them permission to stay in that story. But if you hold your head still and you maintain eye contact and you, in a very loving and genuine voice, say, I hear you. You're not agreeing, you're not disagreeing, you're not validating, you're not justifying. You are just saying what all of us want. I hear you. How many of you, if the person you lived with right now, if while you were talking, instead of trying to solve your problem, tell you you're wrong or right, just looked at you and said, I hear you? How many of you would need that? How many of you would say that would heal years of hurt to know that someone was listening to me? So here are some, I'm doing this for my kids, writing on mirrors, telling them that their words matter. Honestly, I have a 6-year-old that started to have a speech impediment, and I started saying to him, I want to hear you. Your words matter. With all of my kids, as they started to develop their speech and they would stumble, instead of screaming, just use your words at them, I would say, I want to know what you have to say. Help me understand you. None of my children, including my 9-year-old, has had strep throat once in 9 years. I want to hear what you have to say. Because here's the thing. Here's a parent hack for you. If I want my kids to listen to me, I have to listen to them. So the other day I was getting all flustered and my 6-year-old said, Mom, just slow down. We want to hear what you have to say. Because he'd heard that his whole life. I want to hear what you have to say. Your words matter to me. I hear you. Am I agreeing with their whine? No. I hear you. I hear you. And the hard part is not nodding my head afterwards. I hear you. And then sometimes the conversation goes like this. I hear you. I don't agree with you, but I hear you. You still can't have a cookie. So I'm not telling you to be compliant. I'm not telling you to be a people pleaser. I'm not telling you to tell people what they want to hear. I'm telling you to show others that their voice matters. And as you show that respect to others, they will give it to you. So for those of you who have thyroid problems or know someone who does, the best thing so there's 2 ways you can do this. First, I always tell people go into nature. Go for a walk. Go find a tree. But you need to tell the story that you never got to tell. You need to say the words that you never got to say. You need to ask the question that no one answered when you were 12. So this could be something that you go for a walk in nature and you imagine yourself as your 12-year-old self and you say, I don't understand why I'm bleeding. Why do I have to wear a bra? Tell your younger self what no one told you. Let her ask the questions that she wanted to ask. They're still here. Now, a lot of people, when they're dealing with throat issues, tell people to go scream at a tree, go yell, go whatever. Do you know what's far more effective? I've worked with hundreds of women, and I have told people, go scream at a tree, go break things. There's a time and a place, and if you need to scream, then go scream. But most of you are, how do I want to say this? You're not trying to scream to the world. You're trying to tell a secret that was never told. You need to whisper. You need to whisper. Yes, you can go scream at a forest. But the thing that will heal you more is to say the tender things that as a child you weren't allowed to say. And there's a couple of reasons behind this. our breath releases. And when you scream, you actually tend to hold your breath, and you in turn hold in a lot of that feeling that you're trying to use to heal. But when you whisper, say your name just regularly. Just say Laurel Houston. Now whisper, Laurel Houston. It takes more breath to whisper than it does to speak or yell. And breathing is the release most of you need. That's why I teach breath work in my group mentoring. That's why I teach breath work to my personal clients. Because the breath is what releases. And when we scream, we tend to hold our breath. So if you have in the past been told to scream something at the top of your lungs that would help you release, this time, try it with a whisper. Tell the secret you've never told in a whisper. Because your words matter. You are worth being heard, and I hear you, and I love you. And I hope you genuinely know that. Someone messaged me and they said, you always end with saying I love you. You've never even met me. Do I have to? I know that you are a child. You are a daughter. You are a sister. You are a mother. You are a woman on this earth who is struggling. And I can love you without pitying you, without judging you, without comparing myself to you. I can love you because that is what we are on this earth to do, is love each other. So I hear you. I love you. I hope you heal. Thank you so, so much for coming and being here. Let's see. Said, can that be generational, the abuse, the sickness? Okay, so Crohn's disease is a really big, anytime you have an autoimmune disease, there is a belief that you need protection from yourself. You need protection from those who claim to love you. So it can absolutely be generational. And how many generations of women have been told to shut up? How many generations of women have been told their opinions don't matter? Statistically, women have far more problems with their thyroid than men. And I know Crohn's disease isn't just a thyroid problem. But yeah, there are, I'm assuming it's Haley, not Steven. I will send you a message on that one. But yeah, there's so much to your thyroid. And your key takeaways with this are you're allowed to be heard. People do want to listen to you. And whisper instead of scream. Ask the questions you never thought you could ask. Ask them from your younger self to your current self. And if your current self doesn't know the answer, then go look it up. I really do appreciate that so many of you show up every week, that you are sharing these videos with those who need them. I love interacting with you. I love hearing from you. I love answering your questions. Please continue to participate in this group. Get out of it what you need it, and know that I am here for you. I can hear my kids when I have a glass door on my office, and my 3-year-old has his face pressed up against it because I told him I was going to take him to the park at 2:30. So I've gone a little bit longer than I usually do. So I'm going to jump off. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. I usually see them. If you're not sure if I will see them, tag my name on it. But I'm going to go ahead and end this so that it will post. And those of you who need to see the beginning of it can. Thank you so much. I love you. Goodbye.